Okay, so here back for the second part, we have 6 problems to kind of go through. These problems are going to look a little bit different because maybe the variable's on the right-hand side, or maybe we have fractions in them that might confuse you just a little bit. Okay, so here we go. The first one, I'm going to start again by just drawing a line where the equal sign is. And notice that the variable's on the right. So I have to get rid of division by 2, and I have to get rid of this 6. Now, again, we always want to get rid of things that are added on. Let me fix this here. Okay, we always want to get rid of things that are added or subtracted first. So this division by 2 is the last thing to go. Now, I know it says plus p over 2, and that doesn't always mean that we're going to subtract the 6. What we really need to do is take a look at whether the 6 is positive and negative. How do we get rid of a positive 6? We really want this to be 0. So to make 6 0, we actually have to subtract 6. So if it's a positive 6, we're going to subtract 6 on both sides. Okay, that will eliminate the 6's on the right. On the left, 8 minus 6 is 2. And on the right, we have p over 2. Okay, so now I have p divided by 2. So to get rid of division by 2, I'm going to multiply by 2 on both sides. Okay, and that'll cancel out the 2's on the right. On the left, 2 times 2 is 4. And on the right, we've got p. Okay, so our solution is p equals 4. It doesn't matter if the variable's on the left or the right. An equation reads the same forwards or backwards. Okay, here's the next one. Again, I have a variable on the right. So I have to get rid of the negative 5 and the negative 23 here, or minus 23. This is multiplied. We're going to save that for last. Here we have minus 23. So we want to get rid of minus 23. The opposite of subtracting 23 is to add 23 to both sides. Those will cancel out. On the left, if I add 9 and 23, I get 32. Okay, and now here I have negative 5g. So I'm going to go ahead and divide by negative 5. Okay, so now I have a problem that's a little bit more complicated because it's not going to be a whole number. So if you want to, we can go into Desmos and type 32 divided by negative 5. Okay, and we can write this one as a decimal or as a fraction, either way, because the problem doesn't have fractions or decimals in it. So I'm just going to write this one as a decimal. So this is a negative 6.4 equals g. Okay, and it would be okay to write this as negative 32 over 5 equals g. Either way is fine since the problem didn't have decimals or fractions in it. Okay, in the next one, I'm going to draw my line. This time the variable's on the left, so I have to get rid of the 15 and the negative 3x here, the negative 3, I should say. The negative 3 is multiplied on with the x. The 15 is the number that's all by itself, so we have to add or subtract that first. Now, I know there's a subtraction here, but that subtraction sticks with a 3x. So really, we have to move a positive 15. How do we get rid of a positive 15? Well, we're going to subtract 15. That's what's going to make 0. So I'm going to subtract 15 on both sides. Now be careful when you have this. The negative, this is a minus sign, but it really brings down as a negative. Minus signs and negative signs are pretty interchangeable in algebra. And here we have negative 6 minus 15, and that's going to be a negative 21. Okay, last step, we're going to go ahead and divide by negative 3 on both sides since this is multiplied on. And that's going to be x equals a positive 7. Remember, a negative divided by negative is positive. Okay, so here's one that normally would probably stop you in your tracks since you see fractions, but with Desmos, it shouldn't be that big of a deal. Okay, so here we go. Again, variables on the left, we have 2 times x and we have plus 2/3. We always start with the addition or subtraction. So the opposite of adding 2/3, we're going to subtract 2/3 on both sides. So those are going to be eliminated on the left. We're going to bring that 2x down. Now on the right, I have to do 4/5 minus 2/3. So I'm going to go into Desmos to do that. Make sure you hit your right arrow key to get out of that. fraction before you do the next one. Okay, so again, I get a decimal over here, but since there's fractions in the problem, I need a fraction answer. So let's convert that, and the answer is 2/15. Okay, and now we have 2 times x. So to get x by itself, we have to get rid of the 2. We're going to do that by dividing by 2 on both sides. Okay, so we're going to do 2/15 divided by 2. Again, I'm going to go into Desmos to do that. Now, kind of a cool little trick on your calculator, so you don't have to retype 2/15. We can start by putting the answer that was on your calculator. So I'm just going to start with answer. Notice that 2/15 pops up, and now I'm just going to go ahead and divide that by 2. And my solution there is 1/15. If you're ever not sure, I would go ahead and substitute that back in and make sure that you get the correct answer by evaluating it. All right, here's another one with fractions. Variable is on the right. Here I have plus 3/8. We always want to move the addition or subtraction first. We're going to save this multiplication part for last. So opposite of adding 3/8 is to subtract 3/8 on both sides. So on Desmos, I need to do -1 minus 3/8. Okay, I'm going to change that to a fraction. It's -11/8. And I'm bringing down that 5/8 a. All right, so now I need to get rid of this 5/8 times a. To get rid of 5/8 times a, I'm going to divide by 5/8 on both sides. Okay, so I have -11/8 divided by 5/8. So again, if I want, I could take that answer and just hit divide by and put in the fraction 5/8. Okay, it gives me the decimal, but I want the fraction answer, so -11/5. And that's your solution to that problem. Okay, here we have one more. So here the n, the variable's on the left, so I have to get rid of the 40 and the -3n. Again, this is very much like this one that we had up here. So we want to get rid of this 40 that's hanging out all by itself first. Since it's a positive 40, we're going to subtract 40. Okay, we're going to ignore the minus sign because that really belongs with the 3. 40 minus 40 makes 0. That's what we want. Bring down that -3n. And here, if I subtract, I'm going to get a -63. And now I have -3 times n, so I'm going to divide by -3 on both sides. And we're going to have n equals a positive 21. All right, go ahead and try the problems in this section, and then you should be done with your assignment for the day.